Good morning and welcome to Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. I'm Ben Bruno, joined in the booth yet again with my teammate Zach Snyder. It's an absolute beautiful day in northeast Pennsylvania. Nice and warm. Everybody's recovering from a long night during the Mats Erie weekend, so glad to see everybody up and at 'em here this morning as we start to see cars roll out on track for driver intros. So we had a lot of action yesterday in Top 32. If you weren't able to join us, we'll run you through a quick little recap of that. Basically, all the way through outside zone number 1, everybody was having good success with getting in there. We saw a little bit of trouble on initiation, but then getting into outside zone number 2, a rather tight radius coming off of outside zone number 2 has reared its head as a problem for most of these guys so far this weekend. And then into outside zone number 3, everybody's had pretty good luck out there. So as we take a look at the bracket here, you can see what it looks like here heading into battle today. So Troy Manners and Eric Canowitz on the left side of the bracket at the top. Henry Donahue will go up against Joshua Dennis. Zach Egan against Xander Nappy. Matt McAllan against Ryan Reese. And then Casey Rodriguez versus Adam Berner. And then Colin Gillespie versus Kevin Ferraro. And then Fred Maybach will have a bye run. So Fred will not have a bye run. Mike Samson and Aaron Ferell will rerun their battle from top 32 yesterday due to a technicality with Mike Samson's tire. So Fred Maybach will face the winner of Mike Samson and Aaron Ferell. And then Vinny Capola against Andrew Shorkey. So tons of great talent here inside of the top 16. Gonna put on an absolute show for everybody joining us on the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series YouTube page or on the Facebook. Also on Racing America, we are live. Thanks for joining us on Racing America, and thanks to Racing America for supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. If you are capable, please remove your hat and please stand for the playing of the Canadian and United States national anthems.
True patriot love say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Huge thank you to Jeremy Melton for the live performance of the national anthem here to get us kicked off for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. As we have all our drivers down on track, and we'll get to driver introductions here in just one moment. While we have a quick second here, want to thank everybody who makes the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series possible. Formula Drift for sanctioning the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Of course, the winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will take home a Pro Spec license. Special thank you to Link ECU and Distinct Drift for supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
All right, coming to you first from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, Troy Manners and his Nissan 240 SX with that Jay-Z power under the hood, sponsored by ACT, ISR Performance, Huey Brothers, and XXR Wheels. Next up, we have Eric Canowitz from Colchester, Connecticut in his 2006 Ford Mustang, sponsored by Relentless. In that LS-powered E46 is Henry Donahue coming out of Niagara Falls, New York, sponsored by We Care Home Repair. Up next is Joshua Dennis from River Falls, Massachusetts in his E46 K24 powered BMW, sponsored by Drift New England. Now up we have Zach Egan from Northeast Pennsylvania in his Turbo B30 powered E46. In the blue Corvette is Grayson McBride from what? Oh. Oh. In the Honda-powered Nissan 350Z, what are we doing? Correction, in the Corvette, that's my apologies. That is Xander Nappy. Followed then in the K24-powered 350Z is Matt McAllan, coming out of Lakeview, New York. Coming all the way from Canada, next up we have Ryan Reese in that JZX Toyota, sponsored by FabMac Misfits. Next up we have Casey Rodriguez in that LS-powered 350Z from Fremont, Ohio, sponsored by Wilder Drift and Tire Stacks.
FabMac Industries.
Next up, we have Adam Berner in that 4.8 LS powered Nissan 240SX, powered, sponsored by Major League Tire, Wilder Drift, and Evolution Transport. I see. Up next, we have Colin Gillespie from Chardon, Ohio, who will be driving a 2001 M50 powered turbo BMW, sponsored by Landglide. Up next in the turbo E36, we have Kevin Ferraro. Followed by Mike Samson all the way from Syracuse, New York in his LS-powered BMW E30. Next up, we have Aaron Ferell from Erie, Pennsylvania. And up next from Hanover, New York, we have Fred Maybach in his turboed BMW M3. Followed by Vinny Coppola from West Falls, New York in his supercharged S52 M3, sponsored by Fullock Automotive and Performance. Last but not least, we have Andrew Shorkey all the way from Toronto, Canada in his C5 Corvette, sponsored by FabMac Industries and FDF.
The drivers are ready, the tires are mounted, the fuel is loaded. Who's ready for some door-banging, tire-rubbing action here for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series? Lake Erie Speedway, let them hear ya. If you're joining us on the live stream, thanks for joining us for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Again, the winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will take home their Pro Spec license. Round number 3 here today has a $1,500 total purse. $750 to the winner here today, $450 to second, and $300 to the third place finisher, plus a big giveaway from Contingency Connection. So thanks to Contingency Connection for supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series here again. The overall winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will take home $2,500 plus their Formula Drift Pro Spec license. Second will take home $1,250. Third takes home $750. Fourth $500, and fifth $500. So not a shortage of cash here on the line for these drivers of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. That's why we get to see some really good heated action between these drivers every time that they come out and put on a show for you guys at home and here at the Speedway. So again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you give the stream a share, tag a friend that doesn't need to miss out on the action as we get ready to see our first battle of the day. Again, this battle will put either Mike Samson or Aaron Ferell into the top 16 due to a technicality yesterday in top 32. So with this battle, we will have a full top 16 to run here for you guys today. Make sure if you haven't already, you hit that follow button on all the social medias at Lake Erie Speedway on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Head on over to www.lakeeriespeedway.com. Check out our schedule. We have an event for just about everybody. Also, make sure that you follow and hit that notifications bell on YouTube at Lake Erie Speedway and at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. So Mike Samson of the Swamp Kids in that black LS-powered E30 versus Aaron Ferell of Madhouse Drift Team with the LSG. Aaron built that car over the winter and has struggled to get it to stay together here early in the year. No major complications for him, but glad to see him ready to go as they're off. Mike Samson. Oh, and Aaron doesn't go, stalls the car. Aaron Ferell stalls at the line, so Mike Samson just needs to finish a clean lead run here. And unfortunately for Aaron Ferell, that's going to put him at a big disadvantage. So you can see there, if you weren't with us yesterday for top 32, Mike Samson just laid down a really nice lead run for what the judges will be looking for. You can see here on the replay. Zach, give us a look at it at home.
Yeah, taking a look at the replay, I'm assuming that at the line there, Aaron Ferell just stalled it, but sometimes these things happen. It's unfortunate. You get into an event where you're competing and the nerves kind of get to you there. And great job from Mike Samson in the lead, though. Maintains all three zones everywhere he needs to be, and it's going to be interesting to see what Aaron Ferell has to do here on his lead to answer back to that.
To the same note here, you got to figure Mike Samson just wants to have a good, clean chase here. No big mistakes, doesn't need to be too aggressive. Ferell initiates into outside zone number 1. Samson right there, doing a great job filling all of outside zone number 1. Gets in, gets out to outside zone 2, a little bit wide, but does a nice job sucking it back in. And into outside zone 3, Mike Samson keeping the pressure on the door of that Madhouse G.
Yeah, that there is exactly what Mike Samson needed to do. Don't get too aggressive. Maintain a nice active chase. Stay close enough that you're definitely not falling behind by any means. And he showed it there at the end, getting nice and close to the side of Aaron Ferell to finish out the run.
Yeah, and really like what we saw here from both of these guys. You know, a little bit more refined and cleaned up job in the lead positions, making sure to be tentative to those zones, especially outside zone number 2.
On your screen there, you can see the votes are in, and Mike Samson will take the win unanimously over Aaron Ferell. So, bit of a comeback story from him from last night, coming in early today and getting to finish out that top 32 with a W.
So with that, that does move us into top 16 action with Troy Manners against Eric Canowitz, the newest addition to the Yeet Fleet. Shout out to all the Yeet Fleet homies. I know Tom Perner's always watching. John Janke normally jumps in on the live stream. So shout out to the Yeet Fleet guys.
Yeah, Eric Canowitz has come into this Pro-Am as, I believe this is his first year, am I right? And he has really put on one heck of a show. He's absolutely been a fantastic driver on both sides of the spectrum, lead and chase, very consistent. And not enough good things can be said about Troy Manners. He's one of the most consistent drivers, I would say, in the series. Definitely super competitive, very, very aggressive chase driver. So I can assume between these two, this is going to be a heater of a battle.
Yes, a tale of two different stories for these guys. Troy Manners very well experienced. As they're off, Troy Manners out front of Eric Canowitz. They initiate into outside 1. Canowitz very aggressive into outside zone number 1. Nearly some contact. Manners through the power alley. Canowitz cuts the line to keep up in outside zone number 2. Beautiful lead. Oh, very aggressive in outside 3. Eric Canowitz trying to put the pressure on Troy Manners, but Manners unfazed, throwing down an absolutely beautiful lead run.
All right, let's take a look at this replay. You can see the entry from Troy Manners exactly where he needs to be, right in that zone. And Canowitz coming in super hot behind him and maybe cause him to choke up a little bit there in chase. He's got to correct. And then he cuts the line coming from 1 to 2 to try and make up some ground. But Troy absolutely perfect into that second zone and maintaining that line all the way through zone 3. And Canowitz doing everything he can to make up the ground that he lost all the way back in turn 1.
So we flip them. Eric Canowitz of the Yeet Fleet out front of Troy Manners in that JZ powered F chassis. Canowitz initiates into outside zone number 1. Nice job. Manners applying the pressure. Some contact to that back tire of Canowitz. Into the power alley. The bumpers flying off of the Mustang into outside zone 2. Comes up short as Manners continues to apply the pressure all the way through outside zone number 3. Lake Erie Speedway. Put your hands together for Eric Canowitz and Troy Manners.
Absolutely incredible job by both drivers on that as we take a look at the replay here. Eric Canowitz out front, less than a car between the two. Nice little weight transfer entry there from the Mustang. And Troy coming in really hot and just getting a little too close and ends up running into the rear tire of the Mustang, which looks like it might have taken a headlight out of the 240 and rips the bumper off the back of the Mustang. A lot of correction there coming from 1 to 2 from Canowitz trying to stretch it out and get into that second zone. Troy, though, doing a great job in chase to maintain that line and make up the ground that he lost there when he had that little bit of a bump in turn 1. I'll give you guys a chance to take a look at the side-by-side here. And I mean, Troy definitely a little bit faster out front. Canowitz cutting the line, trying to make up some ground, but cutting the line there again, you can see on that right-hand side, just trying to get close. Troy's car is so fast in drift. And then Troy behind him there on the left, you can see how quickly he can catch up to that Mustang. The space is his to be had all the way around the track. It is crazy to watch these guys come out here and do this right off the bat like that. All right, on the screen there you can see Henry Donahue and Josh Dennis just waiting for the go-ahead as we wait for the judges to give us a decision here on this Canowitz and Manners battle.
Joshua Dennis, a far traveler to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Decision is in Troy Manners will advance over Eric Canowitz unanimously. Good battle there to get us started in top 16 action. Again, Henry Donahue in the LS-powered BMW E46 and Joshua Dennis in that K24 Turbo E46. Sponsored by Drift New England and Limiter Glove Company. In the chase position, Dennis initiates aggressively to the door of Henry Donahue. Donahue coming up short on outside zone number 1, transitions to outside 2, gets into it, leaves it very early. Dennis doing a good job adapting to the change in line all the way through outside zone number 3. So for Henry Donahue, probably like to see a little bit more commitment to the zones. Joshua Dennis doing a good job mimicking that line.
Let's take a look at the replay here. As we have Henry Donahue out front. Initiates a little bit shallow on the zone, but looks like he might get 1 or 2 tires into it there towards the middle, and then falls out a little early, puts some angle into the car to get ready for this transition into 2, and it ends up pulling him up short. But Josh Dennis in the chase, enough cannot be said about maintaining that line behind him and adapting to that little bit of a shallow transition there from Donahue.
Joshua Dennis initiates into outside zone number 1. Donahue loses a couple car length disadvantage here as Dennis loses a couple tires on the way out of outside zone number 1. Into outside 2, Dennis does a really good job here of getting in and getting out, loses a little bit of speed and forces Donahue to check up big and fall off of the line. So interesting turn of events there at the end as outside zone number 2, Dennis really had to slow down where the decel is coming into outside zone number 2.
Taking a look here at the replay, we have Dennis out front, maybe a 2 to 3 car gap between the two coming through as Dennis stretches it out towards the end of zone 1, pulling maybe a 3 to 4 car gap. Donahue trying to cut the line and make up some of that ground coming into 2, and it causes him to check up and add a bunch of angle to the car to avoid contact with Dennis in the lead. Ultimately, I think causing the big mistake there that ended up straightening the end of his run for him. All right, coming to the line next, we're going to have Xander Nappy, who originally would be driving a 2JZ-powered E36, but we got news that he ended up losing the power plant in that car, so he's out here in his backup, which is a Corvette. He's coming all the way from Syracuse, New York, and he's going to be going against...
Decision is in. Joshua Dennis will advance unanimously over Henry Donahue into the top 8.
All right, I mentioned Xander Nappy there. He's going to be going against Zach Egan, who is a local boy here from Northeast Pennsylvania in that M54 B30 Turbo E46. And this is also his rookie year, and he has done very well to show out so far for this Pro-Am series.
Zach Egan leads Xander Nappy into outside 1. Nappy losing a good disadvantage here in outside zone number 1. Egan doing a great job of filling all of outside zone 1. Into outside zone 2. Good job by Egan. Gets the momentum to work for him through outside 2. And then Xander Nappy begins to apply the pressure as they round out outside zone number 3.
Yeah, big correction there from Xander in that final zone. We take a look at it here on the replay. Coming into turn 1, Egan pulling up like a 4 to 5 car gap. Xander has to initiate a little bit late to try and make up for some of that lost time. As they come now from 1 to 2, Egan with a nice line, good transition to get himself down into 2, gets right into the beginning of the zone, ends up falling out and then getting back into it there towards the end. And then there's that big correction there from Xander as he straightens between 2 and 3 and has to reinitiate to get back on the door of that E46.
So we'll flip him around. Xander Nappy out front in that blue Corvette of the hometown boy. Zach Egan of Total Loss in the chase position. Through the chicane they go. Nappy initiates. Zegan in chase, loses about a car length, at the beginning of outside zone 1 here. Nappy doing a good job of filling all of outside zone number 1. Good transition as Egan maintains about a 1-car deficit into outside zone number 3. Oh, and Egan goes around in outside zone number 3.
Yeah, not sure what happened there in the chase from Egan, but a little bit of a tank slapper there coming into outside zone number 3. As we take a look at the replay, we have Xander out front, gets right into that first zone, maintains it all the way around, does a really good job there in the lead, giving Egan all the opportunity to get up next to the Corvette. As they come now into 2, Xander gets into the zone early and then kind of has that same sort of shallow to wide line that Egan did. And then there you can see Egan just kind of goes around. I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe he had a steering issue, some kind of binding there in the front end, causing it to snap to lock there on him.
Don't forget, in round number 2, Egan did do some heavy damage to this car running the big bank. So certainly not out of the realm of possibility that, the front geometry of that car could be a little bit altered. I know those guys do good work to get those cars back on track in the best condition that they can be.
All right, coming up to the line now, we're going to have in our next battle Matt McAllan in that K24 turbo-powered 350Z out in New York. And he's going to be chased off the rip with Ryan Reese in that big-powered JZX 100, I think it is. And he is from Canada. He's a Misfits driver. He's here with Andrew Shorkey this weekend. And these guys are absolute shredders. Not to take anything away from Matt McAllan. He's one of the most consistent lead drivers, one of the most dominant chase drivers I've ever had the experience of hanging out with.
Decision is coming in between Xander Nappy and Zach Egan as the judges deliberate. One for Egan. One more time. And a second for Zach Egan. Zach Egan will advance over Xander Nappy.
All right, you can see that on the screen now. You have Ryan Reese on the left with that 1.5 Toyota JZX 100, sponsored by FabMac Industries, Misfits Drift. Going to chase Matt McAllan here into turn 1.
McAllan initiates Reese right to the front tire, applying pressure through outside zone number 1. One of the spicier initiations we've seen so far here in top 16 competition. McAllan carries a lot of speed into outside zone number 2, does a good job of recovering, but it forces Reese a little bit wide in outside zone number 3. Ryan Reese trying to put tire marks all over that K-powered Z.
Yeah, and like I said before this battle, these are two of the most consistent, most dominant drivers we have out here today. Take a look at the replay. We have McAllan out front with that nice snap initiation into turn 1, but Ryan Reese giving him no room to breathe there, just creeping up on the side of that Z as they come out of 1 into 2. And then this transition here by Matt McAllan, a lot of speed, but he held it well, and then Ryan has to check up a little bit because that chaser's carrying a lot of speed coming out of 1 into 2. And then he makes up for it, though, gets right next to him there coming into 3.
We flip him around now. Ryan Reese out front of Matt McAllan. Down the run-up, Reese initiates. McAllan loses. Oh, McAllan goes around on initiation. Ryan Reese going to lay down the smoke show off of that 1.5 JZX 100.
I'm assuming for Matt McAllan that had to be some kind of mechanical issue there. That is so unlike him to spin out on initiation. That is very strange. And
so got to figure here, should be a pretty easy advance here for Ryan Reese over Matt McAllan. You see McAllan just goes around there on initiation. As Ryan Reese gets to put on a show for these fans here at Lake Erie Speedway. If you're joining us on the live stream, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Give the stream a share. and tag a friend that cannot be missing out on this action as we're working through the top 16. We're not even into the top 8 yet. And we've got a heater of a battle coming up next for you guys.
You can see on the screen there, it is unanimous. Ryan Reese will be moving forward as we wait for Casey Rodriguez and Adam Berner here to get to the line. They're just warming up their tires. Adam Berner in that 240SX, brought to you by Major League Tire, Wilder, and Drift Evolution Transport. Casey Rodriguez, sponsored by Wilder Drift and Tire Stacks, and his LS-powered 350Z. Fab Mac Industries sponsoring that car as well. Obviously a Yeet Fleet team member, one of the Alan Boss, Tom Perner boys.
And they're off. Casey Rodriguez in the white Z in front of Berner. They initiate an outside one. Berner, really nice job here in outside zone number 1, applying to the pressure to Rodriguez as Rodriguez pulls a 2-car gap into outside 2. Really nice job from Casey in the lead. Adam not giving up any ground here throughout the run. Absolutely killer job with that horsepower deficit between these two guys.
Yeah, enough cannot be said about Casey Rodriguez's lead here, giving Adam Berner every opportunity to have a fantastic chase there behind the Z. As we take a look at the replay, you have that nice snappy initiation by Casey with Adam in the chase, not giving him an inch, just creeping up on the side of that Z all the way through turn 1. Really nice transition here from Casey to make his way out to outside zone number 2. Adam, though, doing a great job in chase, making that line work for himself, too. A little bit of a slow transition there for Berner, trying to just keep the zone nice and tight between the cars as they come into outside zone 3. And we'll switch them around, and Adam Berner is going to get the chance to answer back to that chase from Casey.
And they're off. Berner in front of Rodriguez. They initiate. Rodriguez a boop to the back of Berner early in outside zone number 1. Pushes Adam just a touch wide, and Casey falls back just a touch. Into outside 2, Rodriguez applying the pressure to the door of that S chassis of Berner. Through outside 3, really nice lead, really nice chase here from Rodriguez. Lake Erie Speedway, put your hands together for Casey Rodriguez and Adam Berner.
Great job from both of these drivers here. We're going to take a look at the replay, let Adam Berner have his chase moment, or have his lead moment here for Casey Rodriguez. You can see that contact there. I think Casey maybe just carrying a little bit more speed, can't quite get on the left foot brake fast enough to let that gap stay, and that caused a little bit of a gap there coming out of 1 into 2, but Casey getting right back on the door of that 240, saying he's not done yet. He's going to be here all day if he can. All right, give you guys a chance to take a look at the side-by-side here as we let the next set of drivers warm up their tires. It's going to be Colin Gillespie, another one of the total loss guys here in a turbo E46. And he is going to be driving with Kevin Ferraro with that big turbo E36 M50.
So Kevin Ferraro will lead Colin Gillespie as we await a decision on Casey Rodriguez versus Adam Berner. A really good battle, maybe one of the better battles we've seen so far through top 32 and now into 16.
Kevin Ferraro, another one of the Wilder Drift drivers out here. This guy is one of the most consistent drivers I think we've had in this series. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I got a chance to talk to him a couple days ago about that car. And Colin Gillespie, another one of the rookies here to the Pro-Am series, one of the total loss guys. And their team as a whole is kind of famous for the Sunday party here at Matt Series. The unlimited seat time for all of them. They've done thousands of laps at this track, undoubtedly. Colin is going to be sponsored here by the Landglide app.
Want to give a quick shout out. Well, decision is in. We're going one more time between Adam Berner and Casey Rodriguez. So you guys here at the Speedway and everybody joining us on the live stream, you get another show from these two drivers as we're set, racked, and ready for Kevin Ferraro versus Colin Gillespie. Quick shout out here to Propped Productions for giving you guys this great quality live stream at Racing America and on all of the YouTubes and Facebooks. So make sure that you check out Propped Productions on social media. And they're off. Kevin Ferraro in front of Colin Gillespie. Initiates into outside one. Colin begins to apply the pressure early and hard to the door of Kevin Ferraro all the way through outside zone number 1 into outside zone number 2. Gillespie continues the pressure as he puts it right against the door of Ferraro into outside zone number 3. Absolutely beautiful lead and really nice aggressive chase for Gillespie.
Yeah, when we get a chance to take a look at this replay, I want everyone to pay close attention to what Kevin Ferraro does leaving 1 to 2. He stays nice and wide coming out of 1 and maintains that line. It sets him up perfectly to get all the way through outside zone 2 and gives Colin the absolute best opportunity to just maintain his chase line and stay nice and close to the door of that E36 all the way through. And you can see it there, just waiting on that transition, taking his time to get into outside zone number 2, and it works out beautifully here for both drivers.
Flip them around. Colin Gillespie out front of Kevin Ferraro for the second leg of this one. They go into outside 1. Kevin Ferraro knows he has to apply the pressure, and he's doing just that through outside zone number 1. A really similar looking flip of the lead to chase here as Colin makes his way into outside 2, just a little bit hot, and Kevin Ferraro has to throw a ton of angle at the car to match the speed of the lead. So see what the judges feel about, front to back of this one, but a really great battle here between Ferraro and Gillespie.
And you can see in this replay here, Colin kind of has that same line coming from 1 to 2 where he stays wide and it allows him to wait on that transition and scrub the speed off before he rotates so that when they come into outside zone 2, he can maintain that zone. And Kevin here in the chase doing a great job, and then Colin has to put a bunch of angle in to stay in the outside zone, and Kevin's got to check up a little bit there, but deals with it well and gets right back to the door of the E46 to finish out zone number 3.
Yeah, maybe a half a tire out of outside 2 for Gillespie. So, he did come in a little bit hot, but does a really nice job. As we look at the side-by-side here, you can see how similar these runs are. Kevin Ferraro maybe just a little bit more proximity through outside zone number 1. Gillespie a little bit more proximity in outside 2. But lead for lead, really similar runs. Kevin Ferraro maybe just a touch cleaner overall in his lead run, especially in outside zone number 2, but really good battle between these guys.
All right, as we wait here for these guys to get to the line, we're going to have Fred Maybach and Mike Samson. Fred coming all the way from New York, Mike Samson as well. And this is going to be an all BMW battle, 2 different generations, LS versus turboed straight 6.
And these guys are good friends and, drive a lot throughout the Mats weekend. So this one's going to be a fun one. If you haven't had the pleasure of watching these two drive together, both absolute rippers. Fred has excelled very well in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, as well as Mike Samson.
And you can see there on the screen, they're going to do one more time between Colin Gillespie and Kevin Ferraro, see if we can get a definite winner between these two.
I know sometimes it's, people ridicule too many one more times, but I can't complain about these ones. They're, getting to see this show over and over again from some really talented drivers is, it's really a treat for us here at Drift PA, Ohio, New York.
Yeah, I'll never understand the ridicule there for one more time. Is worst case scenario, you get to see more driving, and that's what you're here for.
Mike Samson in front of Fred Maybach. Initiates just a little bit short of outside zone number 1, gets right out into it as Fred begins to dial in some pressure coming out of outside zone 1. Nice transition for both drivers into outside 2. Mike Samson doing a textbook job on outside zone number 2 as Fred doing everything he can to keep up with that LS-powered E30.
Give you guys a chance to take a look at the replay here with Mike Samson in the lead, pulling up maybe a one-car gap there on Fred on the entry, and then initiating a little bit early. It's shallow into that first zone, but Fred leaving a 1 or maybe even 1.5 car gap there between the two as they come from outside 1 to outside 2. Mike Samson does a great job on this transition, getting early into outside zone 2 and maintaining it all the way through. Fred Maybach undeterred in the chase, just staying easily within a car of Mike Samson that entire run.
So we flip them around now. Fred Maybach in front of Mike Samson. Through the chicane and into outside zone number 1. Good initiation from Fred. Mike Samson applying the pressure heavily in outside zone number 1. Trying to paint that cherry-colored BMW black with tire marks into outside 2. Fred's a little bit wide, but does a good job of maintaining the track as Mike Samson tries to put a dent in the door of Fred.
Yeah, Mike Samson out here bullying Fred around. It's a absolutely insane battle between these two, and they're both super consistent drivers. Fred has that like very, very clean, consistent lead driving style. It's just super smooth. He's always where he needs to be, giving Mike the confidence to be wherever he wants in chase. And you can see it here as he gets real close everywhere. As they come from outside 2 to 3, Samson's standing on the gas there, just pushing Fred Maybach through that last outside zone.
As we take a look at the side-by-side here, you can see what a good battle we have here. Samson just about a half a car length better in proximity through outside zone number 1. And then both really good job in the lead through outside 2 with a similar line through outside 3. But, you know, just looking at them side by side, it looked like Samps was just a little bit cleaner in the chase position. And then that lead for lead was a darn close battle for sure.
We're going to wait for the judges here to make a decision on that battle as we see Casey Rodriguez and Adam Berner pulling up to the line here to take their one more time run. The Yeet fleet here, what can be said? I mean, you have Casey Rodriguez, who's one of the most dominant drivers out here currently, and obviously his teammate, Alan Boss, is a pro spec driver up there in FD, and I mean, they span the whole East Coast now. You have Tom all the way down in Florida, and these guys are up here. They're adding guys. They have Canowitz now, who's also, I mean, as a, I guess, rookie driver is what you would say for the Pro-Am Series. He's absolutely doing phenomenal. And then you have Adam Berner in the chase here, who's just, I mean, this guy shows up to party. He's rowdy everywhere and all the time. And he runs the 4.8, and he wants you to know it. He's not going to give that engine anything. And he's going to do everything he can to put some pressure here on Casey Rodriguez.
So the tight battle between Maybach and Samson. The judges, not an easy one to make a decision on for these guys, as we're still only in the top 16 action. We're almost through all of the top 16 action, but with a couple of one more times in the fold here. Giving you guys plenty of action to watch. Again, thanks for joining us. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for here today, and who you think's going to take home the big prize at the end of round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. As we take a look at the live stream chat, the Yeet Fleet guys showing out in the live stream chat. Got Tom Perner, John Janke, all the guys. Taylor Braun, who we saw compete here yesterday. As we take a look at the booth cam, again, I'm Ben Bruno, joined with Zach Snyder, both Team Vacation teammates. It's an absolute honor to be up here in the booth for the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, especially with my teammate and good friend. So we got a split decision here between Fred Maybach and Mike Samson. We got one for Samson, one for Maybach, and one more time. So we will get to see another battle between Mike Samson and Fred Maybach. Shout out to Adam Heichman, Pro Spec driver, former competitor here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. I had the honor to get to interview him last year before he got his run at Pro Spec. Rodriguez out front of Berner. They initiate Really nice snappy initiation from Rodriguez into outside 1. Berner not phased, applying the pressure to the door of the White Z. An early transition from Berner into outside zone number 2, and he's got to shut it down early because he just didn't maintain enough momentum to get through there. So Casey Rodriguez, a huge advantage on the first leg of this one more time battle.
And that's what I was saying about Adam Berner. He's here to run it. That's what he wants to do, and he's going to put pressure on you everywhere. And maybe just a little bit overzealous there and end up choking himself out in that transition from 1 to 2, as you can see here on the replay. Casey doing a great job out front, maintaining all that first outside zone, and then not sure if maybe the smoke kind of caught him out there or what, but Adam has that kind of early transition, ends up having to shut it down lest he T-bones Casey in outside zone 2, and that's not what you want to see in the battles here.
So we flip him around to Adam Berner in front of Casey Rodriguez here. Initiates into outside 1, comes up just a little bit short on initiation. Now a straighten from Berner in the lead position. Casey putting on a show for you fans watching at home and here at the Speedway as he applies the pressure to the door of the S chassis in outside zone 2 to outside zone 3. How's about it, guys? Casey Rodriguez of the Yeet Fleet putting on a show for you.
And you can tell just how calm and collected Casey is behind the wheel of that Z. Having Adam make that small mistake there in front of him in outside zone 1, and he just remains unfazed in any situation. Does a little bit of a checkup there to adjust, and then gets right back to the door of the side of that 240.
I gotta say, it's a good thing I'm not a judge because I may have had a little bit of a bribe from Casey Rodriguez. He told me that if he wins this round that he'd let me drive his car after, so I haven't forgotten that. It was something that kind of culminated at the Drift Clinic talking about driving his car.
And you can see there on the screen, Casey Rodriguez will unanimously take the win and move forward here from top 16 down into our top 8. And pulling up to the line now, we have Vinny Coppola from West Falls, New York, and that supercharged S52 E36. Sorry about that. Sponsored by Full Lock Automotive and Performance. And he is going to be running with the pride of Canada, Mr. Andrew Shorkey. Coming all the way from Toronto in that C5 Corvette, sponsored by FabMac and FDF. He is another Misfits driver with Mr. Ryan Reese, who's down here as well. And Vinny, not a slouch by any means, and Mr. Shorkey is one of the most dominant chase drivers I've ever seen. So I can only assume this is going to be kind of a wild battle.
Yeah, another tell of two tales here, as you mentioned there. You know, Vinny, a rookie here in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Andrew Shorkey, no stranger to competitive drifting, that's for certain. Travis Baum tapping in for Shorkey. The Canadian national treasure is in chase of Vinny Coppola as they get into outside zone number 1. Coppola pulls a bit of an advantage as Shorkey starts to close the gap there towards the end outside zone number 1. Good transition here for Coppola. Shorkey trying to be aggressive through that power alley, set him back a little bit, but sucks right back up through 2 and 3. So really good job from Shorkey recovering from that little bit of angle in that power alley.
And I think that was just one of those things where Shorkey was trying to get aggressive there towards the end of outside zone number 1 as we look at the replay. And I think he maybe kind of choked himself out there before that transition. He got a little bit too close and didn't necessarily have the room for the E36 to transition and ends up causing a little bit of a checkup there. But he makes up for it well, as you can see. He comes back into outside zone number 2. Vinny gets into that zone early, taking out that cone at the beginning. And Shorkey trying to close the gap there towards the end of this run, getting right next to Vinny in the E36. As we switch places here and let Mr. Andrew Shorkey put down his lead in that C5.
Shorkey in that Misfits C5 Corvette in front of Coppola. Big flick initiation from Shorkey into outside 1. Vinny not letting him get away as into the power alley. We start to see that LS pull a little bit on Vinny. Vinny closes the gap through outside zone 2. Early transition for Coppola, misses most of outside zone number 3 as Shorkey lays down an awesome lead run. So couple of little mistakes on both sides of this one. You know, in top 32, we saw stuff like that go one more time. Let's see if this one's got a big enough deciding factor for the judges.
Yeah, great job there by Andrew Shorkey in the lead, getting into outside zone number 1 nice and early. And just, like I said before, he is a driver that could not care less about the health of that C5. He beats on it like it owes him something every time he drives it. Vinny behind him there, no slouch coming from 1 to 2, staying real close. And then I don't know if maybe that transition from Vinny there from 2 to 3 was to try and make up some ground, having the LS pull that gap on him there coming into 2. All right, as we wait for the
Is it Colin?
As we wait for the judges here, as you can see on the screen there, Andrew Shorkey is going to unanimously take the win over Vinny Coppola there and move forward into the top 8. And on the line now, we're going to have Kevin Ferraro and Zach Egan doing their one more time battle here. Kevin's going to lead the way.
Again, Kevin Ferraro, a seasoned veteran of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, up against an up-and-coming rookie to the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, Colin Gillespie. I knew it was Colin, but I'm sorry, the cars are just similar.
2 E46s, the exact same livery.
Ferraro in front of Gillespie into outside zone number 1. Nice initiation. Colin, oh, and a straighten from Kevin. Oh, he's plowing. Gets it checked up. Most likely a mechanical failure there for Kevin Ferraro. As you saw, things get a little bit hairy as I heard a couple gasps come out of the booth as he headed towards, I like to call those white barriers the hockey pucks. If a car hits them, they slide across the track surface like a hockey puck.
Yeah, not really sure what happens there. It looks like he maybe lost power and the car just grips up on him, starts pushing the front end for Mr. Kevin Ferraro as he's looks to be already off track. Not sure if he's going to take a 5 minutes or not, but Colin's sitting on the line waiting here for an answer from our start line guy there, Mr. Brian Reichert.
Shout out to all the media guys and girls out here at Drift, PA, Ohio, New York. If you're sitting down there, give us a wave. You're on camera on the live stream, on live television at Racing America, where you can catch all the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action. Again, a beautiful day here in Northeast Pennsylvania at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. I know it's hot down there, so really appreciate you guys sticking it out. Make sure you're staying hydrated. If you have water, make sure you drink it. If you don't, head on over to the Rusty Wheel. Grab yourself something to drink. Maintain that hydration. And grab something to eat. I haven't been able to stop over yet and check out the new food items, but I know that they were absolute bangers. So make sure that you stop by the wheel, ask them about what that new item is. I'm sure it's highlighted really well on the menu back there. And again, thank you to everybody who makes the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series possible. Formula Drift for sanctioning the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series and providing a Pro Spec license to the winner of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Distinct Drift for coming on board. Link ECU for their continued support. As we always have a blast out here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series.
All right, we are getting confirmation here. Mr. Kevin Ferraro is going to take his competition timeout. So that will be 5 minutes for him to get to wrench on the car and see if he can figure out what the issue was and get it corrected and get to come back out here and do the second half of that battle.
Can we go back So we take a look here. Brian Stoneman with the camera work. I wanted to highlight, you can see all the rubber pebbles sitting outside of outside zone number 1. Not as big of a deal in outside zone number 2 as they're getting pushed back towards that Jersey barrier wall. But you can see, if you end up just slightly offline, it's going to cost you quite a bit as there's not a lot of traction on top of those marbles.
Yeah, just from experience in driving, if you get into those marbles, it goes from driving on asphalt to what might as well be lubricated Teflon. It's the worst thing ever. And this is a layout where everything kind of gets pushed to the outside, but if you run two tires wide, just about anywhere you're going to end up in that. All right, we're going to have our one more time here between Mike Samson and Fred Maybach as we wait for Kevin to have his 5-minute timeout there.
Getting real-time feedback from our grid staff man, Brian, also a Team Vacation teammate, was talking to Colin there while we were waiting to hear from Kevin Ferraro, and said that Colin said, I just want to win so I can keep driving. And that's a pure love for the sport there. That's what it's all about. Have fun, shred tires, and have a good time.
Yeah, if you're coming out here and you're running Pro-Am or just the Mat Series weekend, you're not doing it because you love it. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. This is one of those sports where it's a labor of love all the way through.
Mike Samson in front of Fred Maybach. Fred knows he's got to throw it down here on this one more time battle. He's applying the pressure to Mike Samson through outside zone number 1. Really good lead here so far for Samson into outside 2. Maybe a tire off for Samson on the way out of outside zone number 2 as Fred continues to apply the pressure. Fred knows what he needs to do here, and he does just that in his chase.
Yeah, it needs to be said that this layout, for only being 3 corners and all outside zones, it is deceptively difficult to get from 1 to 2 and maintain that second outside zone. So enough can't be said about the skill of these drivers here today to be able to make that all work. And especially in chase here, you can see Fred maintaining essentially the exact same gap all the way around the track. Nice consistent lead there from Mike Samson for him to follow. And absolutely phenomenal job by both of these guys as we switch them around and let Fred do his lead, and Mike has an opportunity to chase here.
Fred Maybach through the chicane. Mike Samson in the chase position. Samson applying the pressure early in outside zone number 1, right on the door of Fred, all the way through outside zone number 1. Some contact into the power alley. Outside zone number 2, Samson, aggressive transition, trying to regain that proximity. Absolutely killer lead run from Fred, and how's about it for Mike Samson applying the pressure in the chase position?
Absolutely beautiful job here by both of these drivers. Fred Maybach up front, and you can see as he enters into this first outside zone all the way through, that front wheel does not move at all. He is rock solid all the way through, and Mike Samson taking full advantage, just sitting the tire on the door of that E36. As they come into outside zone number 2, a little bit of a gap opens up, but Mike makes up for it in the transition from 2 to 3, getting right on the door of Fred again and pushing him through the end of that last outside zone.
Live stream chat going wild on this one. Absolutely loving what Fred Maybach and Mike Samson delivering for a show here in only the top 16. It's almost a shame that we have to see one of these guys go out of action before top 8 as Samps lays the tire to the door coming through outside zone number 3 as well. Mike Samson trying to give the judges every reason for him to advance into the top 8, but it's almost a mirror of what we saw on their first run of the battle, where it's just such killer driving on both sides. It's hard to decide who really did it better, but Samson just laying tire marks all over Fred in the chase position. I mean, I'm no judge, but I really like a good aggressive driving job as long as it's not costing you a lot on line and angle and all that stuff. So textbook job there from Samson the chase.
In this situation, I have zero interest in judging these runs. It was so close, and it's going to maintain if you let them keep going. essentially forever. Both of them are going to be able to run that line all day. And taking a look here at the chat, I mean, you see one more time, run it back, a couple of Samsons, a couple of Maybachs there, and it's too close for me to even pass judgment. That's absolutely crazy. I hope that this level of driving continues for the rest of the day.
We're still just getting our feet wet here in Top 16. If you're joining us on the live stream or on Racing America, thanks for tuning in. Again, round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series at Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste. Make sure that you head on over to the YouTubes at Lake Erie Speedway, at Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Hit that notifications bell, hit that subscription button, and never miss out on any of the action, as there's definitely no shortage of it, as the decision is in. And Fred Maybach will advance over Mike Samson.
Yeah, split decision there between these two. As you can see, 2 for Fred Maybach and 1 there for Mike Samson.
Absolutely killer driving by both of these guys. As I mentioned, sucks to see one of them go out here in Top 16. As the live chat was just going absolutely crazy for one more times and wanting to see it again. We're going to take a quick break. Make sure you grab something to eat, grab a drink, stay hydrated if you're here at the track. If you're watching at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break from our sponsors.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Saturday, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway in Erie, PA, driven by Pro Waste. It's the return of Crash-O-Rama, presented by Dave Hallman Chevrolet, featuring school bus figure 8 racing, a wild and wacky boat and camper trailer race, flagpole races, the unpredictable skid cars, a fan burnout contest, and much more. And for the first time ever, the world-famous Phantom Jet Car. Gates open at 5, the destruction starts at 7. But get there early for free rides in a real race bus. Kids 2 and under and parking are absolutely free. Crash-O-Rama, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway. It's the wildest show on wheels. Be there.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here. I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushin. I'm Matt Field. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver.
Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it.
Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
We're shouting it from the mountaintop. $2,000 off all Tucsons. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai, everyone qualifies for $2,000 Hallman discount when you buy an in-stock 2024 Hyundai Tucson or lease a 2024 Tucson SEL all-wheel drive. 0 down, only $399 a month.
And all backed by Hyundai Owner Assurance and America's Best Warranty.
There's never been a better time to get into a Hyundai Tucson. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai.
Welcome back to beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania. Lake Erie Speedway, driven by Pro Waste, an absolute beautiful venue. And a huge thank you to Lake Erie Speedway for hosting Drift PA Ohio, New York, and the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Let's take a look at the rest of the drift schedule here for the rest of the year of 2024. Right now we're at Summer Mats Erie and Great Lakes Pro-Am Series Round 3 on August 10th If you're a novice drifter, just getting your feet wet in drifting, there's a drift clinic, so you can come out, learn the basics of drifting. August 30th through September 1st is Fall Mats Erie and Great Lakes Pro-Am Series round number 4. So don't forget it, but if you already hit that notifications bell on the YouTube, you're good to go. October 11th, we have our Drift PA Ohio, New York awards banquet. And then the last drift event of the year on October 12th through the 13th at Smash-A-Lantern, which is absolute carnage as we see cars try to smash pumpkins down off the K-rails. So with this, we're going to see Colin Gillespie take a quick by run as Kevin Ferraro broke. We'll let you listen to this sweet turbo BMW music.
All right, and that makes it official. Colin will be moving forward here. Kevin Ferraro not able to get that E36 ready to go in his 5-minute allotted timeout.
And with this, we move into the top 8 portion of the bracket, which is going to bring some absolute heaters of battles, and no shortage of it. Right up front here, we have Troy Manners in the JZ-powered S chassis versus Joshua Dennis in the turbo Honda K-Series powered BMW. Both of these guys pretty well experienced drivers, driving big events all over the coast. Again, make sure you give the stream a share, as we've already seen absolutely killer action. You're not going to want to miss any of it. Give it a share, tag a friend that needs to be here. Let us know who you're rooting for to win round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, as we only have 8 guys left.
On the line now, we have Troy Manners coming out of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, going up against Joshua Dennis from Fall Rivers, Massachusetts. As they leave the line here with Troy Manners in the lead, pulling maybe a 1-car gap to that quick handbrake initiation to get him into outside zone number 1. Dennis falling back a little bit, but attempting to make up for it as they come out of 1 into 2. Troy carrying all kinds of speed into outside 2, but he deals with it well, getting nice and slow to make that zone work, and Dennis just slowly falling back there. Troy's car just rolling smoke as they finish out the run there.
Take a look at the replay here. Manners, nice snappy initiation into outside zone number 1. Dennis right there, but falls to disadvantage right through the middle of outside zone number 1, as Manners has that S chassis tooted and booted here in round number 3. As Dennis just unable to recover there after outside zone number 2, but we'll flip him around. Joshua Dennis, again, that turbo Honda-powered BMW, now out front of the JZ-powered S chassis of Troy Manners.
All right, Dennis is going to lead the way here as they leave the line. Clean start from both drivers. Dennis initiates a little feint initiation there. Troy almost kind of pulls a bunch of angle out of the car there, trying to make up some ground coming through outside 1. Dennis doing a good job all the way through 1 into 2. Gets into that zone nice and early, keeps 1, maybe 2 tires in that zone all the way around. Troy doing a great job here in chase, not leaving much of a gap there, maybe half a car between the two as they finish out the run.
Take a look at the replay here. Dennis initiates, does a really nice job through outside zone number 1, really repainting that white line there, indicating the back of outside zone number 1. Nice job in outside zone 2 for Dennis too, as Manners begins to apply the pressure out through the exit of outside zone number 3.
Give you guys a chance here to look at the side-by-side of that lead and chase run there as we wait for the next set of drivers here. Mr. Ryan Reese and that Misfits JZX going to be going up against Zach Egan, the local boy here from Northeast. Ryan coming all the way from Canada down here to compete in the Pro-Am Series.
As Zach mentioned, Zach Egan right here from Northeast Pennsylvania, out front of the Canadian Ryan Reese. As we are still awaiting judges' deliberation between Dennis and Manners. If you're hanging out back in the pits, make sure that you make your way up here. Support these Pro-Am Series drivers as they're putting on an absolute show here today in top 16 action. Bring the pop-up over, bring your lawn chair over, get on that backstretch fence, and let these guys hear you.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful weather here today for this. Nice, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. That's absolutely clean. It's a nice summer day. It's going to be a hot one, though, so I can imagine as we move forward, everybody out there in the pits, make sure that you're staying hydrated. It's like 90 degrees and sunny. All right, you can see it there on the screen. 2 votes there for Mr. Troy Manners and 1 there for Dennis, so Manners will be taking the win and moving forward here into our top 4 battles.
Got to give a quick shout out to Baby Drew and Mama Jean here for Great Lakes Pro-Am Series action today. That's my son and my fiance. Sorry, that's the biggest plug I'm going to give myself. Egan out front of Ryan Reese. Egan initiates. Reese aggressive on initiation here. Falls a little bit back out of the pocket. Now sucking back up into it. Coming out of outside zone 1 into 2. These guys hauling the mail down in there. Egan comes up short on outside 2 and pushes wide coming out of outside 2, which sets him up funny for outside 3. And you see Reese fall to a disadvantage. You know, we talk about needing that good lead run to have that good clean chase.
Yeah, I think what you can see there from Reese is just kind of struggling to deal with that line choice there from Egan coming into 2 and then later into 3. And you can see here on the replay, Reese getting real aggressive there on initiation and maybe just kind of choking himself up. He got a little bit too close too fast and had to check up. But you can see here Egan barely touches the beginning of that zone and then falls back out and gets into the end and ends up blowing out a little bit wide. Reese, though, I mean, deals with it well and ends up getting right back to the door of the E46 to finish out zone 3.
Reese in front of Egan now. Into outside zone number 1. Egan trying to do everything he can up to keep up with the JZ-powered JZX. Falls to about a 2-car disadvantage into outside zone number 2. Reese, tons of angle, checks up heavy. Maybe even almost unfollowable there for Egan. So pretty much in the same spot, 2 different looking mistakes, but really similar outcomes for the chase driver in outside zone number 2 between these guys.
Try to take a look here at the replay and see what happened to Reese coming out at 2 there. He does a really good job here in outside zone 1, maybe 1 tire off there just to finish out the zone. And then this transition from 1 into 2, maybe just carrying a little bit too much speed and puts so much angle into the car that he ends up kind of almost parking there in front of Egan. Egan doing everything he can there to angle up the car and not hit the side of Ryan Reese to finish out that second outside zone.
So as we await a decision on this one, we'll let you take a look at the side-by-side replay here. You can see just how tight it was. Our next battle pulling up to the line is Casey Rodriguez in that white LS-powered Z of Yeet Fleet up against Colin Gillespie of Team Total Loss. So gonna be another really good battle here. As you know, I had mentioned Colin making his way through Alan Boss's tandem clinic and has been using those notes very well since that. Now he's going to try to use that ammo against Alan's own teammate in Casey Rodriguez.
Taking a look at these two guys here sitting on the line, we have Casey Rodriguez, who's obviously one of the Yeet Fleet boys in that big LS-powered 350Z, going to be brought to you by Wilder Drift and Tire Stacks. And then you have Colin Gillespie going to chase him. On the screen here, you can see Ryan Reese and Zach Egan going to do it one more time. The mistakes from both of those guys there in their leads ended up being the ultimate decision of rather than attempt to make a decision based on mistakes, let's just let them run it again, see if they can clean it up and get a clear winner out of the two there. And Colin Gillespie going to be from Chardon, Ohio, sponsored by Landglide and Total Loss.
Casey Rodriguez into outside zone number 1. Big initiation for Rodriguez as Colin, as we've seen all day, just pasting it to the door of Rodriguez through the power alley, not losing an inch here. Really nice job from Casey through outside 2 as Colin just continues to apply the pressure to the white Z. Absolutely killer driving on both sides of this one.
Yeah, really good job there by Colin in the chase, using that braking zone there to get nice and close to the side of that Z coming through outside 2. Casey Rodriguez, though, giving him the lead of a lifetime here, maintaining all the zones. Nice, quick, snappy initiation there to get into outside 1. Colin pulls a little bit out of the angle out of the car, trying to get up next close to Mr. Rodriguez as they come from 1 to 2. And then coming down into 2, you can see Casey puts a bunch of angle in the car to slow down and maintain that zone, but Colin deals with it extremely well, leaving maybe a half a car gap there between them. An absolutely great job by both of these guys. See what Colin can do here in the lead, giving Casey a chance to put on the door of that E46.
Colin Gillespie out front of Casey Rodriguez. Casey's going to have to apply the pressure, and he does just that on initiation, almost contact as he slides back in the pocket. Now beginning to apply the pressure, a little bit shallow on angle in the chase, but Colin throwing down a good lead, has to check up coming out of outside 2. But Casey continues to apply the pressure to Colin Gillespie. Lake Erie Speedway, let these guys hear you, putting on an absolute show for you.
Absolutely phenomenal job by both of these guys here. As you can see Colin on the replay here out front. Nice quick initiation, stays nice and wide in that outside zone, giving Casey the opportunity to just sit on the door and leave maybe like a half a car gap there. Little bit of a maybe almost early transition there from Casey from 1 to 2, trying to stay close to Colin into outside zone 2. Colin maintaining all the zones all the way throughout his run, and Casey taking full advantage to be right on the door of the E46 to finish out that battle.
Again, this is another seasoned veteran battle to another Great Lakes Pro-Am Series rookie in Colin Gillespie. Absolutely loving what I'm seeing from Colin. Like I mentioned yesterday during Top 32, I was on the receiving end of being handed an L by Colin at Paynesville Speedway. That man is on kill, and I absolutely love to see it. Zach mentioned Team Total Loss, the Sunday Warriors, soaking up all the seat time that they can get, and you can see the dedication that these guys throw at it between Zach and Colin and all the other guys on Team Total Loss, really paying off.
As we wait here for the judges to make a decision, we're looking at Andrew Shorkey is going to go up against Fred Maybach here, and both of these drivers, we've all seen Shorkey drive, an absolute hammer behind the wheel. This man is here to party. That's what he does. He is a Misfits driver coming all the way from Canada. He's sponsored by FabMac and FDF. And then obviously you have Fred Maybach, who is absolutely clinical behind the wheel of that E36. He's one of the cleanest drivers, super dominant chase driver, and I can assure you Andrew Shorkey is going to give him a lead that he's going to be able to have his way with in chase.
And 2 super stylish, nice, outfitted drift cars nonetheless. I love the color on paint, or the color of the paint on Fred's car. Speaking stuff, We've only been doing it for about an hour now, so just getting well lubricated up here. But Fred's color on his card, maybe almost identical to a color that I'd like to run on my car in the future. And then Shorky, the flashy gold wheels, the sweet livery with the, like, I don't know, is it coins, doubloons? Like, you know, it's like the Misfits, the whole gold stars, galaxy kind of wrap on that car. That car is sweet.
Yeah, just a word here about Fred Maybach's car. That's a really interesting drivetrain in that car. The turboed straight six BMW motor with the Samsonis ZF 4-speed dog box behind it. That's a crazy setup to have in a Pro-Am car. And I mean, rear mount radiator, the whole nine. It's very well put together. Super nice car. And then you have Shorky, LS3 and anger. He's here to party. That's what he's going to do.
Without a doubt, one of the most aggressive drivers that we get to see in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Decision is in. Calling Gillespie. Gonna take down Casey Rodriguez in top 8.
Huge shout out to Colin there. That is one heck of a win for him moving forward. All right, you can see it on your screen there now. You have that S50 Turbo E36 versus Shorky and that LS3 Chevrolet Corvette C5.
Shorky out front of Fred Maybach. Big snappy initiation from Shorky out front. A little bit of a wobble through outside zone number 1 as he tries to run away from Fred. You can see a little bit of the horsepower difference here. I know that Fred certainly has a stout amount of power, but Shorky knows what he has to do here, knowing what a good driver Fred is, and Shorky's got the Corvette absolutely dialed here in top 8.
And this layout would definitely be a layout where you would want a little bit more torque coming from 1 to 2. You're going to have to dig your way out of that second zone. You can see it come into play here. Shorky initiates quick into that first outside zone. Fred, maybe a 3-car gap between the two as they come through outside 1. As they go down now into the power alley, transition into outside zone number 2. Good transition there from Shorky. Gets into the zone early, keeps a tire in it all the way around. Fred in the chase just doing what he can to try and close that gap up as they finish out the run. Shorky, though, absolutely phenomenal lead run there.
We flip him around. Fred now in front of Andrew Shorky. Shorky aggressive on initiation in the chase position. Fred doing a great job as Shorky nearly some contact to the door. Shorky gets a little bit thrown off here into the power alley, but recovers very well, applying the pressure back to the door of Fred. Fred, really nice job on the lead here. Shorky doing a great job in the chase. Let them hear you, Lake Erie Speedway.
Great job there by both drivers. Fred with that super clean lead run. Shorky taking full advantage of it there in chase. Looking at the replay, you can see Fred sitting in that outside zone all the way around, and Shorky just nosing that Corvette into the door of that E36. And it looks like here Shorky maybe checks up a little bit to give Fred room to transition into outside 2, and then immediately shoots down that power alley back to the door of the BMW. As they finish out the run here, you can see Shorky just pushing Fred through outside zone 3. Absolutely great job by both guys here.
Let you guys take a look at the side-by-side here. You can see some stark differences between lead to chase between both drivers. So up next, we're going to see the one more time battle between the Canadian and teammate of Andrew Shorky, Ryan Reese, in that Fab Mac Industries sponsored JZX100, up against Zach Egan. Zach Egan will be in the lead. Ryan Reese will be in the chase.
And you can see that on the screen now. Andrew Shorky is going to take the win over Fred Maybach unanimously to move on here today.
So both of these guys going to want to try to clean up their runs from what we saw the first time. A couple of mistakes on both sides that led to, if I'm not mistaken, incompletes in the leads for both drivers. So want to clean that up. Going to have to clean that up to move on well through the rest of the bracket, that's for sure.
All right, you can see it there on your screen. You have the 1.5 JZ and that Toyota JZX100 going to be against Mr. Zach Egan in his freshly turboed M54 B30 E46.
So Zach Egan in the lead. Down the alley, initiates into outside zone number 1. Reese a little bit shallow on angle, sucks back up the proximity. Coming through outside zone number 1. Reese able to maintain really good proximity. And now in outside zone number 2, on both sides there, a little bit of a waiver. Reese comes up a little bit short in the chase position, ends up almost parking it again like we saw in the first time that these guys ran this battle.
Not really sure. I'm thinking maybe Reese was trying to correct there for the spot of transition from Egan coming from 1 to 2. And you can see here Egan transitions and Reese kind of really doesn't have anywhere to go. He's got to check up a little bit there, or he's going to hit the back of the E46, and it causes him that big correction there from 2 to 3. Has to reinitiate into outside zone number 3 and try to get back to the door of the BMW.
So we'll flip them around. Ryan Reese now out front of Zach Egan. Again, I don't know if I've heard a limiter quite as rowdy as the JZ under the hood of this chaser for Ryan Reese. Ryan Reese through the chicane. Zach Egan in tow. Initiates aggressively, trying to gain the proximity on this chaser of Ryan Reese. Reese basting the outside line of outside zone number 1. Egan falls to about a 2-car disadvantage into outside zone number 2. And now Egan throws it real hard into outside 3, trying to regain that proximity. So again, you know, on both sides of this one for this one more time battle, just a handful of mistakes from both drivers on both sides of it.
Take a look here at the replay here and see Ryan Reese out front. Good initiation into outside zone number 1 as he gets on throttle there on the JZX and just lets the tires burn all the way through outside 1. Egan desperately trying to make up some ground there in the chase, cuts the line coming into outside 2 to try and gain some proximity here. And Reese maintaining outside 2 and 3, doing a good job there. Egan having to cut the line to try and get some ground on that JZX.
As we take a look at the side-by-side, can see the highlight of these mistakes here, mainly like we saw in top 32, centered around outside zone number 2. So gonna have to get it cleaned up here, you know, moving into the top 4. If you are gonna make mistakes like this, it's probably not gonna net you very well in the top 4.
Yeah, taking a look at the bracket here, this means the winner of this battle is gonna have to go up against Troy Manners, and you're gonna have to clean it up to deal with Troy if you want to move on to our final 2 there.
Shout out to everybody hanging out here at the Mats weekend, supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series in Drift, PA, Ohio, New York. As the decision is in, split decision, 1 for Reese, 1 for Egan, and 1 more time. So we'll see it again as we saw here in the first battle. really want to have a deciding factor, not deciding off of, who made the least amount of mistakes, as with potential incompletes on certain sides of it. Want to see a good battle between these guys to seat themselves into the top 4. Everybody grab yourself something to drink, grab a bite of food, and be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Saturday, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway in Erie, PA, driven by Pro Waste. It's the return of Crash-O-Rama, presented by Dave Hallman Chevrolet, featuring school bus figure 8 racing, a wild and wacky boat and camper trailer race, flagpole races, the unpredictable skid cars, a fan burnout contest, and much more. And for the first time ever, the world-famous Phantom Jet Car. Gates open at 5, the destruction starts at 7. But get there early for free rides in a real race bus. Kids 2 and under and parking are absolutely free. Crash-O-Rama, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway. It's the wildest show on wheels. Be there.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here. I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin.
I'm Backfield. I drive Link.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver.
Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it. Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive
Link.
We're shouting it from the mountaintop. $2,000 off all Tucsons. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai, everyone qualifies for $2,000 Hallman discount when you buy an in-stock 2024 Hyundai Tucson or lease a 2024 Tucson SEL all-wheel drive. 0 down, only $399 a month.
And all backed by Hyundai Owner Assurance and America's Best Warranty.
There's never been a better time to get into a Hyundai Tucson. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai.
Thanks for joining us for round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Wouldn't be possible without the help of Formula Drift, Link ECU, Distinct Drift, everybody who makes it possible. AJ Moore from Lake Erie Speedway, always supporting us and making things better for the drifting community up here in the Northeast. A big shout out to everybody involved with the production that you're getting to watch here at home today. No matter where you're watching it, Prop Productions always does a killer job on the live stream. Shout out to Brian Stoneman for running the camera here today, giving you guys the beautiful shots. All of our drone operators, Anthony, Timmy, all those guys for helping out and bringing you guys some really awesome action here at home from up close and tight. Let us know who you're watching from. Let us know if you have any questions in the live stream comments. We'd be glad to try to get you an answer as we can. But love hearing from you guys. I know that we have drivers from far and wide, and if I'm not mistaken, we've had viewers in different countries in the past here on the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. So if you're watching from far and wide, please let us know who you're rooting for and where you're watching from, as we love to hear from you. Taking a look at some of the fans here at the Speedway with the car show going on today. Thanks to everybody who brought their car out. Shout out to Distinct Drift there, hanging out. Taking a look up towards the booth there. Give a wave, guys. You're on live TV. Racing America coming on board with the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series today. Shout out to Yeet Fleet, Mama Boss. The best. Let's take a look at the live stream comments. You're absolutely right, Travis. That is Brian Stoned Ham, king of the Rangoons. I hear he loves strawberry milk. Metman 2J. A whole lot of people there compared to round two. Looks like the Matt's Erie events are a blast. They are an absolute blast. You're 100% correct. If you've never been, I 1,000,000% out of, I don't even know what percent recommend it. The cars are awesome. You find really cool swaps. I know me and Zach talked a lot about this last night while we were hanging out. And that's exactly why round number two didn't look like this, because it wasn't a Matt's Erie weekend with it. So it was the big purse payout, top 32 last time.
Yeah, Matt's Erie events are, I mean, good luck getting a ticket. You better be hot on the trigger there when you go to buy it. I understand this event sold out in like a couple of minutes, and 180 some drivers here this weekend.
Vibes Drift popping into the live stream chat. We just had Vibes a couple weekends ago here right at Lake Erie Speedway. The best teams from all over the country coming right up here to beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania at Lake Erie Speedway to take part in the team event, Vibes Drift. If you've never been to Vibes Drift, it's a really special one of the biggest drift events in the entire country, let alone this coast. It's absolutely killer. The style, the vibes, I know it's called Vibes, but everything there is just so special, you know, and that's the funny thing, right? I talked a lot last night, and nobody put a target on my head. But I don't know if there's anywhere else in the country that's doing it like a Matt's Erie weekend. I mean, I saw at least a 12-car train for insurance purposes, 7, last night, where every single car in the train had no gap between them whatsoever. And, you know, typically you kind of see every third or fourth car kind of reset a little bit. Not really. I mean, these guys were just dropping the pocket back, but absolute rowdiness. We got Jenny the Drift Boat here this weekend. Hopefully we'll get to see Jenny again in the future. Up into A class last night was an absolute riot with the boat as well, as we're taking a look at the car show here on the live stream. Thanks for joining us for the car show. It's an absolute blast.
And you can see there on the line, we are staging up Mr. Zach Egan and Ryan Reese. All right, and this battle here for the one more time between Egan and Reese is going to finalize our top 8.
All right, so Zach Egan in front of Ryan Reese for this second one more time. Reese, aggressive initiation, now putting the tire to the door of that total loss BMW. Egan doing a great job through outside zone number 1. Comes up short again on outside zone 2, and Reese really, really similar to what we've seen in the first 2 battles, where he just falls way out in outside zone number 2. I mean, I know that you got to have the lead, but you know, he's just really choking up there in that chase position behind Egan.
I almost feel like Reese there in the chase is continuously expecting Egan to sort out that transition from 1 to 2 and be able to run that transition deep into the zone. And he kind of has to check up here again, and you can see how far inside it puts him, and then he ends up just throwing a bunch of angle into the car and trying to dig his way out of it. And it does get him close to the E46 to finish the run, but that 1 to 2 transition is just wreaking havoc here for Zach Egan.
Ryan Reese now in front of Zach Egan. In that chaser, initiates into outside zone number 1. Egan trying to apply the pressure. Falling back about a car's gap now as Egan through the power alley tries to suck up on proximity. Ryan Reese putting the skinny pedal to the floor, laying down the smoke screen as a much cleaner job for both of these drivers here on the second leg of this battle. But again, you know, relatively, I don't want to be too critical, but still just relatively sloppy on the zones. I mean, you know, like you said, the winner of this battle is going to have to go up against Troy Manners, and Troy Manners typically does not miss like that. So, I mean, even if you advance out of this battle with a leader chase like that, it's going to be tough for you to advance on Troy Manners with stuff like that.
Yeah, as we take a look here at the replay, kind of the same situation there for Reese coming from 1 into 2. He comes up shallow, and Egan has to cut a bunch of power out of the car and try and suck it into the inside of that turn to avoid some contact. And I mean, this is a tough deliberation here, but honestly not hard to judge, but for reasons that honestly need to be taken care of. Both of these drivers need to clean it up moving forward. As you see now, we are staging up the teammate there of Zach Egan, Mr. Colin Gillespie. And Shorkey is in the background there warming up the tires in the C5. All right, and you can see on your screen there now, Ryan Reese gets the unanimous decision. He will move forward, and his next battle will be Troy Manners in our top 4.
So Zach Egan burns him down. We got Shorkey versus Colin Gillespie coming up here. This is one of the top 4 battles, as now we have that other one seated for Manners to go against. So Shorkey in the Misfits C5 Corvette, sponsored by FDF and FabMac Industries. And Colin Gillespie with Team Total Loss and Land Glide.
This here is going to be an interesting battle for sure. Andrew Shorkey is going to get the chance to lead first, and he knows that Colin so far today has been consistent as can be here in chase and not afraid to put some pressure on a lead driver. And you can see there on the screen, Colin Gillespie in that Iron Block M50 Turbo E46 versus that LS3 C5 of Andrew Shorkey.
Andrew Shorkey initiates an outside one. Gillespie aggressive like we've seen all day, but it ends up causing him a deficit through the back half of outside 1. Shorkey bringing the gap sauce through outside zone number 2 as Gillespie sucks back up the proximity in outside zone number 3. So again, really love to see that out of Colin with the aggressiveness. But this time, Shorkey gets it set in there and gets out of there quick as Colin falls back out of the pocket.
You can see here in the replay, Shorkey with that initiation into outside 1. Colin tries to initiate a little early and get on the door, and it ends up kind of coming back to bite him here. But you can see this transition from Shorkey from 1 to 2 is a little bit slower, but it sets him up great to get right into outside 2 and keep both tires in that zone all the way through now. Coming into outside 3, Colin cuts the line a little bit there, transitions early to get back to the door of that C5 to finish out the run.
So we flip them around now. Colin Gillespie out front of Andrew Shorkey. Shorkey probably going to be looking to lay down a clean one here as Colin initiates. Really nice job through outside zone number 1. He's all the way in it. Shorkey applying the pressure. Coming out outside zone number 1, a big bobble from Shorkey, but a really great recovery again like we saw last battle. Able to bring the pressure back to the door of the BMW of Colin Gillespie.
Yeah, you can see coming out of outside 1 there, it looked like maybe Colin put some angle in the car to prepare for that transition into 2, and Shorkey had to angle up to try and make it work there coming from 1 to 2. As you can see it here on the replay, you can see Colin put some angle in the car there, comes back across the track, and Shorkey puts a bunch of angle into it, causing that little check up there in the chase. And you can see coming through 2 into 3, Shorkey a little bit wide coming into 3, kicks that cone off the outside of the track, and then sticks to the door of the E46 to finish out the run. All right, give you guys a chance to look at the side-by-side here, both of those runs. Colin leading on the left and Shorkey leading on the right there.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out here. Taylor Braun, I don't know where the meat's been or where it was last night, but we better have some meat in our lives today. I mean, Taylor Braun, a.k.a. Smoked Ham. I'm hearing that he's run out of meat. Is this true? This is a travesty.
All right, you can see it there popped up on your screen. Shorkey is going to take the win unanimously and move forward into our top 2. And he will be battling the winner of our next battle, which will be Manners and Ryan Reese here moving forward.
All right, so if you're here on the property, we have just a couple minutes here as Ryan Reese is getting ready for his battle, as we're going to see, Reese and Manners next. So heater battle there.
And you can see there on your screen now, the winner of Troy versus Ryan Reese is going to go on to battle Andrew Shorkey for that first, second place battle. And then the loser of that battle will go up against Colin Gillespie so that we can define a third and fourth place. And you can see on your screen there the drone just kind of meandering there through the pits. You can see how many cars are on the property this weekend. And this is a hot pit. Every car that you see is a drift car this weekend. These are all just guys that came out to have a good time, spend the weekend out here with the boys, and do this Mad Series weekend. As cool as the Pro-Am is with top 32, top 16, 8, all that, these events are absolutely massive, and it is just a party weekend. And there you can see on your screen is that boat. And that is, I understand, a turboed BMW underneath.
Yeah, it's rather rowdy, dude. That boat's not slow. I couldn't imagine slinging something that large around. I mean, I guess I could ask Noah and Ethan Stearns about it sometime.
And for the uninitiated, Noah and Ethan Stearns, 2 guys that come out to basically every Mad Series event that pilot crowned Victorias as they come out. It is a show to see. I mean, every car you can imagine is on the property for the weekend, whether it's like your JDM classics of an RX-7 or a 240. Some Miatas are out in the crowd, and then everything from Germany with all the BMWs now coming in, and with the ever-growing popularity now in Corvettes as well. I even seen a GTO out here this weekend, like a new body GTO, and I've seen on Instagram and stuff now guys are kind of getting into the older steel body chassis too. I've seen like a Monte Carlo hanging out at the LZ World Tour, and it's modern day hot rodding. I don't know what else to call it. You have cars that are a German chassis with a American small block in it. You have obviously the Dayco car that's driven by Chad has the Ford 5-liter in it.
Yeah, some really unique builds up and down the alleyways, if you will, of the Lake Erie Speedway pits. Is Troy Manners in the JZ powered S chassis in front of Ryan Reese with the JZ powered Chaser. Aggressive initiation in the chase here. Oh, a little bit of a wobble from Reese in the chase position as Manners a little bit shallow on angle as he was pretty wide on the zone there. Outside zone 2, really good job as Reese has really cleaned it up here in this battle in the chase position against Troy Manners.
And you can see what Ryan Reese is capable there of when he's confident in that lead driver with Troy Manners being out front. And Troy, not to be understated in any way, shape, or form, that car is a rocket ship. It is so fast out here. Take a look at the replay now as you see Troy with that quick initiation into outside 1. Reese, very aggressive initiation, getting right next to the 240, and then Troy pulling away just ever so slightly there, coming through outside 1, now into 2. Good transition by both drivers. Troy fills all of outside 2, and Reese does the same in chase. Transitioning now into 3, Reese gets a little closer there to finish out the run, and absolutely great job by both guys here. Ryan Reese really cleaning it up there in his chase coming out of that last battle.
So we flip them around. Ryan Reese in front of Troy Manners. Good job getting right into outside zone 1 for Ryan Reese in the lead. Manners doing everything he can to keep up here as that Chaser just spitting fire out of the back of it. Absolutely killer lead here from Ryan Reese. Manners just trying to keep up as the smoke show off of these 2 JZ powered cars absolutely smoking out the speedway.
Yeah, and you can see there from Ryan Reese, that's exactly what you want on initiation. Really quick snap to angle in the zone and maintains it all the way through zone 1. Troy Manners in the chase, a little bit of a gap there, maybe thinking he has an advantage, leaving a little bit of a buffer here so he doesn't hit the JZX of Ryan Reese. Coming now from 1 to 2, you can see in the replay, Reese does a great job, a little bit of a handbrake drag there to get himself into the beginning of zone 2. Not quite filling it out, but Troy deals with it well there in the chase. And they finish out the run there. Both of these JZ cars just smoking the track out, and I heard it up here in the booth while we were watching. That is the best sounding battle so far of the day. 2 JZs just getting absolutely beaten here.
Life Ruiner Drift Team dropping the comment, the music of our people. I think that's everybody's people. Absolutely rowdy JZs under the hood of these 2 cars here. And as Zach was just talking about, you know, this is 2 of them right here. Obviously, the Chaser came with JZ power under the hood. I know it's a little bit different than...
It did come with JZ power, but it didn't come with that JZ.
Right,
that's a 1.5 J,
Yep.
so that's a 2J bottom end with a 1J head on it. A bit of a Frankenstein motor there, but absolutely shreds when it's done right. And you can see Troy Manners' car with, I believe, a similar setup in it. It changes frequently, so it's hard to know exactly what's in Troy's car. But, I mean, both of these cars, pro-level builds, 650-plus horsepower on tap at any time.
So make sure, if you haven't already, give the stream a share. Tag a friend that needs to be here because we're just about to get into the heaviest hitting action of the day. There's been no shortage of it this far. We got Christmas in July here at the Speedway. You can see the Grinch up on the fence back there behind the cars. Again, thank you to everybody who makes the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series possible. Formula Drift for sanctioning the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Link ECU for supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And Distinct Drift for coming on board this year.
And huge shout out across the board to the Speedway in general. I mean, the ability to have this facility to run these events, and you have the Mad Series events, you have 200 drivers out here hanging out for the weekend, and then the Pro-Am drivers as well. Everyone gets to drive together. A group out here is sharing time this weekend for practice for the Pro-Am guys, so they get the opportunity to kind of sneak in there and run with some of the pro-level cars and see how they stack up. Because, I mean, everybody in their mind at one point in time or another might want to compete. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, but it's still nice to know that you get to drive with guys who might end up at a pro level. I mean, if you came out here at Spring Mats here, you had the opportunity to drive with Alan Boss in his pro car, who was out here doing Pro-Am as well. It's a golden opportunity to be out here, and I can't say enough about the racetrack and the facility and all the sponsors that come out and make this possible.
So tough one here for the judges to call, as quite a bit of deliberation already, and continuing on as we see they're taking a look at the side-by-side replay again. You can see the differences in these two runs here. But to pick up on what Zach was just saying, and if you're a B guy and you can hear me right now, that monochrome kind of colored G is Alan Boss driving his mom's car, and he's been hanging around in B getting guys to tandem. So if you can hear me right now and you're a B driver, you see that car and he chucks up a 2, you might as well as follow him. He just wants to give you the opportunity to learn and feel more comfortable there. So B guys, keep your eyes out. I'm thinking about maybe running some B later and kind of doing the same thing, kind of just help everybody get acclimated. So if you're a B guy, look out for that monochrome kind of colored G. That's Alan, Prospect driver Alan Boss, trying to run tandems with you.
Yeah, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about this event is, I mean, they do 3 Mat Series a year, and then obviously you have like the pumpkin smashing there at the end. But I mean, you have cars of every caliber, everything from a C group, guys just getting into it, moving into B, there's some tandem, there's a lot cleaner lines going on. Then you have A, which is just a full-blown, like,
and
you're
B's
out there.
Really A minus.
Yeah, I mean, B is, the rules are a little bit different for what you can and can't do in B, but at the same time, it's your opportunity to get into tandem, to learn with your buddies and come out here and just run a bunch of laps. And then you have A group, which is just, it's a party the whole time. The grid workers are essentially there just so if anything goes wrong, they can slow down the action and let the track workers get out. And like I said earlier about the builds, here on screen, you can see, to cut myself off, you have 1 vote there for Reese, 1 vote for Manners, and a 1 more time. So we're going to get to see it again. Ryan Reese and Troy Manners going to do a rerun there moving forward to get a definitive winner here to move into our top 2. But, yeah.
All right, with that, everybody grab something to drink. We're getting into the heat of battle here. We're going to take a quick break, stop over at the Rusty Wheel, and we'll be right back.
Safety, comfort, and value is what we deliver with premium motorsports apparel from Velocita USA. We're here for you, the diehard blood, sweat, and tears race teams, putting on a show today. For your next fire suit, helmet, racing shoes, or gloves, give Velocita a call at 336-764-8502 or shop online at velocita-usa.com. And remember, drive fast and take chances.
Saturday, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway in Erie, PA, driven by Pro Waste. It's the return of Crash-A-Rama, presented by Dave Hallman Chevrolet, featuring school bus figure 8 racing, a wild and wacky boat and camper trailer race, flagpole races, the unpredictable skid cars, a fan burnout contest, and much more. And for the first time ever, the world-famous Phantom Jet Car. Gates open at 5, the destruction starts at 7. But get there early for free rides in a real race bus. Kids 2 and under and parking are absolutely free. Crash-A-Rama, August 3rd, 7 p.m., rain or shine, Lake Erie Speedway. It's the wildest show on wheels. Be there.
Hey guys, Jeff Jones here. I'm Dylan Hughes.
I'm Travis Reeder.
I'm Ken Gushkin.
I'm Matt Field. I drive Lake.
They are the most reliable ECU around, and they always deliver.
Their global tech support gives me the advice I need every time I need it. Their products are super easy to install and easy to set up for the performance that I want.
They stand behind their products and support their customers. They're always innovating and delivering great new products and performance features.
I drive. I drive. I drive. I drive.
I drive Link.
We're shouting it from the mountaintop. $2,000 off all Tucsons. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai, everyone qualifies for $2,000 Hallman discount when you buy an in-stock 2024 Hyundai Tucson or lease a 2024 Tucson SEL all-wheel drive. 0 down, only $399 a month.
And all backed by Hyundai Owner Assurance and America's Best Warranty.
There's never been a better time to get into a Hyundai Tucson. This week at Dave Hallman Hyundai.
Well, I hope you. All right, welcome back. We're getting ready to see my apologies. Just trying to make sure we got all the ducks in a row here. We are going to see the one more time battle between Manners and Reese. So again, maybe one of the best sounding battles that we've had all day. On the break there, I was talking with our producer, Rob, and we decided that you can't see everything at a Matt's Erie weekend in one weekend. Like, you can't live the whole Matt's Erie weekend, you'd have to, and I've had, 20 Matt's Erie weekends, and I still have not seen everything. If you stay up late enough, you can see these photographers and media guys out with spotlights doing crazy stuff at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right, we're going to line up here. Troy's going to get to take the lead over Ryan Reese.
Troy Manners in the 1J S14 and a half versus Ryan Reese. Manners out front, initiates into outside zone 1. A little bit slow to initiation there with the big, long e-brake pull. Reese able to keep good proximity through outside zone number 1 into outside zone number 2. Really good job from both drivers there in outside zone number 2. Reese loses just a little bit of ground towards outside 3.
And you can see there's smoke rolling out of the windows of Troy's car as he comes back over to the start-finish line. Absolute smoke show in that S14. Take a look here at the replay. You have Troy Manners out front. Good initiation there, but maybe even a little bit slow to angle, but Reese deals with it well there in the chase and leaves maybe a one-car gap coming out of outside 1 into 2. Good transition there by both drivers to make it out into 2 and then into 3 here. We have Reese. Maybe a little bit of an early transition or maybe even a late transition. Not really sure how it worked out there, but he ends up giving a good gap there coming into 3. And Troy finishing out his run there. Absolutely stellar job. All right, we are good to send cars here to have Ryan Reese do his lead run over Troy Manners.
Reese in the JZX initiates. Manners falls back about a car length gap in outside zone 1, now starting to surge back towards the door of Ryan Reese into outside zone number 2. Really nice job by both drivers here as Manners cuts the line just a little bit to close back up that proximity and round it out the back. These runs not easy for the judges to call at all.
And you can see coming into a factor there is the smoke coming off the back of Reese's car. Absolutely standing on that JZ to finish out his run. Take a look here at the replay. You have Reese out front. Good initiation, gets into outside 1 early and stays in it all the way around. Troy leaving a little bit of a gap there. Coming now from 1 to 2. Good transition from both drivers coming into 2. Reese gets into 2 early and stays there the whole way around. Troy unfazed in the chase there, cutting that line just a little bit to gain some of that proximity back coming into 3. And give you guys a chance to take a look here at the side-by-sides, wait for the judges to make a decision on this battle. And this will be the battle here for the Final Four. The winner of this will move forward to battle Shki for first and second place.
Got a special one here in the comments. A man that we just saw out here on the track a couple minutes ago, Fred Maybach, tapping in saying he thinks Troy Manners took down Ryan Reese here on this one. So we'll see how Fred's intuition matches up with the judges. Fred is a former judge of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series all of last year. So no stranger to judging, that's for sure.
All right, you can see it there on your screen. Unanimous decision. Troy Manners is going to move forward to battle Shki, and Ryan Reese will be moving on to battle Colin for that 3-4 battle.
So we take a look at the bracket here. You can see how we've worked through. And now we're down to one final battle between two battles for the third place finisher and the overall winner in second place. So my apologies, but the big battle, Troy Manners versus Andrew Shorkey. I feel like we've definitely seen this battle before in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. We have got to see Troy and Shorkey drive together, I believe at least once, if not a couple of times, and that is going to be a bit of a war, I'm sure of it. You have two absolutely phenomenal drivers, Shorkey with that LS3 powered C5 going against Troy Manners with the JZ S14.5. And both of those cars extremely fast, both extremely aggressive drivers, both very seasoned drivers, confident behind the wheel of their cars. So I can only assume this 1-2 battle is going to be a bit of a banger. And then the 3-4 battle, Colin working his way all the way up here as a rookie to go against Ryan Reese. And that's going to be another total loss versus Misfits battle as well, as we saw before with Egan and Reese. And absolutely phenomenal driving so far through this top 16 as we take a look now at the drone making its way through the pits, give you guys a chance to kind of see the scale of this event and what exactly it is. And I mean, it's absolutely insane. You can see the amount of cars here as it moves past. Like, there's a Mercedes, there's, I know for a fact, a bunch of turbo BMWs, I see a couple of Miatas, there's a boat. I mean, there's the GTO I was talking about earlier, and you can see just the scale and range and variance of all the cars.
AJ's JZ powered notch or whatever the heck it is. Fox body notch, whatever. Sorry, I'm not a Mustang guy.
Yeah, up
Sorry,
here in the
Tony.
Up here in the booth, one of our
But
judges,
shout out
AJ
Drift
Popovich.
Evergreen. Mobbed out for Summer Mats Erie. We were tearing it down with Drift Evergreen last night, well into the morning. Speaking of which, not to paint anybody in a bad light, but comp driver Mike Samson was up with me when I was going to bed this morning, well into the morning. So Mike Samson on kill, running on, 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, getting a little bit of a backstory here. Mike Samson, the E30 is an antique vehicle and therefore street rated here in Pennsylvania, so that is technically a street car, all said and done. And he did compete in the street car comp earlier this year. And talking to AJ up here, who is one of the guys that drives over in Evergreen out western mid-PA, I guess, Midwest, Eastern PA. And they said they brought 20-plus cars with them all the way out to come run Mat Series weekend. And I'm sure AJ's car specifically has been a bit of a, I guess, internet famous, a little bit viral there with the fire that happened. Everyone's seen the burnt Fox with the 1J in it. And that car is absolutely insane. And the boat came from Evergreen as well.
Taking a look at the tech barn here. You can see this is where you got to make your way through to be eligible to even run over the weekend. But if you're watching live with us right now on Racing America, thanks for joining us. If you're on the YouTube or Facebook, make sure that you tap in. Let us know who you think is going to win the day overall, who you think's going to win this battle, as these are going to be some heaters coming up right to you live from beautiful Lake Erie Speedway in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Giving you guys take a look here from the drone. You can see the boys heating up their tires. It's going to be Ryan Reese and Colin Gillespie for that 3-4 battle.
And again, if you're joining us late, this is a Formula Drift sanctioned Pro-Am series. The winner of the overall, after all the rounds are said and done, will walk away with their Pro Spec license, and I'm sure a good bit of bragging rights amongst the guys and girls.
All right, we're going to stage them up here as we have Ryan Reese going to lead the way in the JZX over Colin Gillespie in that turbo to E46.
Ryan Reese in the chaser. Snappy initiation. Colin falls back about 2-3 car lengths on him here. Into the power alley into outside zone number 2. He's able to regain proximity. Really good lead run here from Ryan Reese, as Colin just unable to keep that thing pasted to the door of the JZX.
And you can see just a little bit of that horsepower coming into play here from Ryan Reese. I know that JZ's making like deep into the 6s, and Colin's car is maybe 354 at the wheels. And you can see Colin doing what he can there in the chase to try and maintain some proximity. Ryan Reese, absolutely stellar lead run, getting that second outside zone perfectly. Colin using that big slowdown there as an advantage to try and make up some of the ground as they finish out the run.
Colin Gillespie now in the lead position, initiating into outside zone number 1. Reese nice and aggressive here. He's got the JZX dialed in now after these couple one more time battles, and he's applying the pressure to the door of that total loss BMW. He falls a little bit shallow. We saw that with Zach Egan earlier today. So real similar things here in the chase. You almost got to feel like it's something that, you know, Ryan's looking into outside zone number 2 and not really knowing what's going to happen maybe, and he's just trying to play it a little bit safe. We saw him against Troy really have no problem with, hucking it in there at the door.
I almost feel like it might be a bit of an angle situation here because Ryan can carry so much power and so much speed coming out of 1 into 2, and the BMW is not really able to do that. So if he stays as shallow to maintain the angle to match Colin, he's going to end up carrying too much speed in his mind into outside 2, and he's not going to be able to make up for it. So having to choke up there a little bit on the line and kind of cut it, I guess, to maybe not come in too hot into outside 2 and take Colin out. You can see here on the side-by-side, much better proximity from Reese coming through outside 1, and then there's that big checkup into 2, kind of evening the field here, and the judge is definitely going to have a rough one to decide, I guess, who had the lesser of the problems there in their runs.
So definitely an interesting battle, that's for certain. You can see the judges needing to deliberate a good bit here on this one as they're requesting to take a look at the side-by-side here again. So you can see Colin in the lead on the left, Ryan in the lead on the right. Really similar outside zone ones. Obviously, Ryan had a little bit more proximity, but then I think the real point of contention here for the judges has got to be that outside zone 2, right?
Yeah, and you can see there, regardless of what Reese was doing in the chase, Colin did get into outside zone 2 and had a good line all the way through it. So not really sure how that's going to be viewed. It doesn't look like Colin did anything in the lead to cause that big checkup for Reese in the chase. If you look there on the right, Reese's lead, phenomenal, getting right to outside zone 2 and maintaining it all the way through, and then obviously running the run all the way out through outside zone 3 is smoke rolling off the back of that JZX. And you can see it there on your screen. Colin's going to take the win over Ryan Reese, and he is going to be our third-place finisher here for the day. And huge congratulations to all these guys. Colin being, a bit of a rookie. This is his first Pro-Am series, but definitely not an unseasoned driver by any means. But to make it all the way to the final battles here in a Pro-Am, and I know that he was having some small issues with that car, so it seems like he's definitely got it ironed out, and he's got everything smooth and ready to rock.
So if you're hanging out back in the pits or you're hanging out at the car show, you're going to want to make your way to the track side right now. The heat is on. The final battle of the day. Who's taking home the first spot? Who's taking home the second spot? Will it be the Canadian, Andrew Shorkey, in the C5 FabMac Industries FDF C5? or Troy Manners in that JZ powered S chassis. This one's going to be rowdy. These guys both very well experienced drivers. Absolute shredders nonetheless. Get up here and you're not going to want to miss this one as the action's about to get started. The tires are warm. They pull up to the line, and we're going to see some action here in just a second. Okay, now I got to stay excited.
And you can see Troy Manners are on the side of his car, coming in with sponsors with ACT, ISR, Huey Brothers, XXR wheels, helping them put together that 1.5 JZS 14.
Manners in front of Shorkey. Manners initiates. Shorkey trying to apply the pressure as Manners turns on the smoke screen. Shorkey pulling up to the door of the S chassis. Into outside zone number 2. Shorkey continues to apply the pressure. Oh, parks it a little bit there. Didn't see anything funny out of Manners there, so Shorkey just grabbing a little bit too much angle there in outside zone number 2. So really good lead there from Manners as well.
Taking a look here at the replay, we have Troy Manners going to have that nice little feint initiation there. Initiates early into outside 1, but still gets into the zone where he needs to be. Smokescreen rolling off the back of that S14. Shorkey doing what he can, try and make up some proximity. And you can see here, Troy adds some angle to the car to maintain that zone, and Shorkey has to check up. Maybe just a little bit too much angle. He loses momentum and has to dig his way out in the Corvette to try and make up ground coming into 3. We're going to switch him around. Shorkey's going to get the opportunity to answer back.
Andrew Shorkey in the Misfit C5 in front of Troy Manners. Nice, spicy initiation. A little bit long on the e-brake pull there for Shorkey as Manners is applying the pressure coming out of outside zone number 1. Hard transition for Manners to the door of the C5 of Shorkey. Nice job in the chase. Nice job in the lead. Lake Erie Speedway put it together for Troy Manners and Andrew Shorkey.
Yeah, not enough praise can be sung for both of these guys. Shorkey in the lead in that LS3 C5. Quick little feint initiation there, a little bit of a handbrake pull to get the car to settle, but Troy deals with it well, leaving maybe a 1 to 1.5 car gap coming out of 1 into 2. Good transition here from Troy in the chase, staying nice and close to the back of the C5 as they come through 2. Shorkey doing a great job filling all the zones. And you can see the smoke rolling off the back of the JZ-powered S14 as Troy Manners tries to get close to the side of the Corvette. All right, and we get confirmation that we do have a winner. So we are going to line the boys up for the announcement underneath the arch here at Lake Erie Speedway to finish off the day of Pro-Am driving.
If you're joining us on Racing America or on the live stream, you're not going to want to go anywhere just yet, as when we get this decision, these guys will rip absolute heater burnouts for you guys. Especially if you're back there by the entrance to the track, you're going to be in a bit of a smoke inhalation system over there in a couple minutes. But we're waiting for everybody to get over there and situated by the arch. We'll get the drone over there. While you have a quick second, if you need to use the restroom or grab a drink, now would be a good time to do that. It's just going to be a couple minutes. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us here at the track this weekend for Summer Mats Erie. Having an absolute blast. I hope you guys are too. If you're joining us on Racing America or on any of the live streams, thanks for joining and supporting the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. If you own a business or you want to take part in some of the action that goes on here, please reach out to us at the Lake Erie Speedway, and we can accommodate any of your advertising needs here at the Speedway. We've got tons of room around the track for advertisement for you, and on our website, all the good stuff, all the social media posting, all of the fun stuff. We'll get your name out there to thousands of people an event here and thousands of people on the live stream. For round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, coming home in 3rd place from Team Total Loss, Colin Gillespie.
Yeah, Colin Gillespie, one of the Total Loss guys, absolutely phenomenal rookie driver here, brought to you by Land Glide.
And the winner of round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series is going to be Troy Manners. So Troy gets the big hat on. Troy Manners, sponsored by ACT, ISR Performance, Huey Brothers, and XXR Wheels. Troy, always a threat here with us in the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. And coming in second, coming over from Canada, we've seen him before on the podium, we'll see him again on the podium, Andrew Shorkey. Andrew Shorkey from the Misfits Drift Team, sponsored by FabMac Industries and FDF. So again, if you're with us live, don't go anywhere just yet. You're going to see some really awesome burnouts here, as there's tons of action left. If you're within, an hour or two, shoot, even 3 of Lake Erie Speedway in Northeast Pennsylvania, set that GPS, load the kids up, grab a cooler full of water or whatever your drink of choice may be. Head on out. We got Matt's Erie absolute thrashing from now until 11:30 p.m. tonight. So come on out. Take part in the grassroots drifting here at the Speedway. It's an absolute blast, as I was mentioning earlier on the stream. If somebody could let me know about it, I'd appreciate it. I don't want to be unfairly biased, but I don't know if there's any drift event in the entire country that's as rowdy and just the vibe at a Matt's Erie weekend. So load it up, come on out. We got the car show going on in the breezeway here on the grandstand side. Bring out your car, enter it in the car show. I'm not sure when judging and stuff stops for that, but you might miss out on that portion of it. But still, it's a rolling driving car show here for a Matt's weekend. So, bring your car out, park it out there in the lot. There's always nice cars in and around the Speedway.
Yeah, and it should be noted, too, that if you come and you do buy a spectator's pass, that gets you full pit access as well. So you can come over to the pits, hang out, talk to the drivers who are here for the weekend, check out the builds in the cars. And just taking a minute here to let these guys get pictures and, get their congratulations and the hugging through. And then we're going to see some burnouts here from these three guys as they go back into the pits, as is tradition for Lake Erie Pro-Am.
So again, here in round number 3, we had a $1,500 total purse. Our winner, Troy Manners, taking home $750 here today. Andrew Shorkey taking home $450. And Colin Gillespie taking home $300. Plus the giveaways from Contingency Connection. And basically, Contingency Connection is really nice supplier, and you get massive discount percents. I actually won one at the awards banquet last year. Unfortunately, I didn't really need to buy anything, and I don't think anybody ever really used my coupon book, but there was tons of really good stuff. These guys are lighting them up for you. Let's just take a listen to these burnouts. Just an absolute heater here from Shorkey. Come on, guys down there. Let them hear it. Well, that's going to do it for us here for the action in round number 3 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series. Again, make sure that you don't miss out, as round number 4 of the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series will fall with Fall Mats Erie on August 30th through September 1st. So not too much further down the road, just another 30 days or so, and we're right back here for round number 4 of the action. Thanks for joining us on Racing America or the live streams on all the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, all the above. For Ben Bruno and Zach Snyder and everybody here at the Great Lakes Pro-Am Series, we'll see you next time.